The Lonely Watcher. Eli Carver lived on the edge of the belt, in a mining station that clung to a lonely rock spinning through the void. By day, the station rattled with the roar of drills and the constant chatter of ore haulers. By night, silence ruled, except for the gentle hum of the station's oxygen pumps and the occasional creak of metal as the structure cooled. Eli liked the nights best. That was when he climbed to the observation deck, a scratched-up dome of reinforced glass bolted to the station's highest point. There, with nothing but vacuum between him and eternity, he set up his old telescope. It wasn't much, a civilian model his grandfather had salvaged from a wrecked freighter, but Eli had coaxed life from its aging optics, polishing the lens and tuning the tracking motors until they purred smoothly. He kept a battered notebook at his side, filled with sketches of asteroid formations, rough orbital diagrams, and long columns of numbers only he could make sense of. Tonight, his eyes were locked on a slow-moving cluster, 5 irregular asteroids drifting together in loose formation, their tumbling surfaces flashing silver as they caught the distant light of the sun. He loved the belt's slow ballet, the lazy spin of rock and ice, the silent collisions that sent glittering sprays of dust into the black. His parents didn't understand. They worked 16-hour shifts managing the mining drones and considered stargazing a childish waste of time. But to Eli, the sky wasn't just pretty. It was alive. He was scribbling down the position of the lead asteroid when something made him pause. Between 2 chunks of drifting rock, a shadow moved. At first, he thought it was another asteroid sliding into view. But the shape was wrong. Too straight, too clean. Asteroids were jagged, chaotic things. This was different. He adjusted the telescope, narrowing the view. The object was long, wedge-shaped, its edges unnaturally sharp against the stars. Sunlight should have gleamed off its surface, but it swallowed the light instead, a patch of black darker than space itself. Eli's heart began to pound. He'd read about stealth ships, experimental military craft wrapped in light-bending cloaks, but none was supposed to be anywhere near the belt. And yet, here it was, keeping perfect pace with the asteroid cluster, as if hiding among them. He tapped the console to take a still image, but the view flickered. For a second, the outline shimmered, almost dissolving into the background, then snapped back. A cloak. A real cloak. No way, he whispered. A part of him wanted to call it a trick of the optics, a sensor glitch. But he'd been tracking the belt for years. He knew what belonged and what didn't. This didn't. He patched into the local security channel. "This is Eli Carver at Station 12 Kappa," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. "I'm tracking an unidentified vessel in Sector Delta 7, riding with an asteroid group. Doesn't match any registry." Static. Then a bored voice replied, "Station 12 Kappa. Repeat. Did you say a vessel? Out here. Kid, you're probably looking at a shadow or a sensor ghost. I'm telling you, it's not a rock. It's moving in sync. It's cloaked. Copy that. We'll make a note in the log. Security out." The line went dead. Eli gritted his teeth. Of course they didn't believe him. He was just a miner's kid, not a patrol officer. He scribbled furiously in his notebook, marking the ship's position relative to the asteroid cluster. If they wouldn't listen now, maybe he could collect enough data to force them to. Hours passed. The cluster drifted, and the hidden ship drifted with it. Then, just as he was about to pack up, the formation shifted. The asteroids continued on their lazy path, but the shadow broke away. Eli's stomach twisted. The vessel angled toward the belt's inner lanes, toward inhabited mining stations like his own. Through the telescope, the ship seemed to dissolve completely, vanishing into the black. Only the faintest ripple in the star field marked where it had been. Eli sat frozen in the observation dome, his notebook open, his pencil hovering above the page. Whatever that ship was, it wasn't just hiding anymore. It was coming. The ship no one believes. Eli barely slept. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw that black, wedge-shaped shadow breaking formation and sliding into the belt's inner lanes. By morning, the station was humming with its usual chaos, cargo skiffs docking, mining crews returning coated in dust, maintenance bots clattering across the decks. Eli moved through it in a daze, clutching his notebook like a lifeline. He tried again to report what he'd seen. This time, he cornered Sergeant Doran, the head of the outpost security team, near the hangar. The man was built like a loader mech and had the same patience for interruptions. "I saw it last night," Eli said. "Not an asteroid. A ship. Cloaked. It peeled off from Delta 7's cluster and headed inward. Look," he opened his notebook to the sketches and coordinates. "These numbers match up with." Doran glanced at the page, then snorted. "Kid, the belt's full of shadows. Gravimetric anomalies. Old debris. Bits of sensor static. You stare long enough, you'll see faces in the dust." "This wasn't static," Eli insisted. "It was moving with the rocks. Ships do that. Rocks don't." Doran's face hardened. "You're not the first spacer to get jumpy staring at empty space. Go help your folks. Leave the ship hunting to the patrols." Dismissed again. By midday, Eli was in the station's archive room, combing through old belt incident logs. Most of it was routine, cargo thefts, mining disputes, equipment failures. But buried deep in the files, he found something stranger. Report #14B, year 2263. 3 miners from Outpost Theta claimed to have seen a moving shadow traveling with a debris field. No registry. Disappeared without a trace 2 days later. Case closed due to lack of evidence. He read on. Another case, 12 years later. Same description, same vanishing witnesses. Then another, and another. 4 reports in 40 years, all dismissed as optical illusions or space fatigue. Eli sat back, pulse quickening. This wasn't new. Whatever he'd seen had been here before, and every time, the people who saw it disappeared. That night, he went back to the observation dome. This time, he brought a plan. His family's old mining drone, a stubby, battered machine with a cracked sensor housing, was parked in the maintenance bay. Eli had retrofitted it with a salvaged sensor array and patched the transmitter into his private comm frequency. If the ship came back, he'd have proof. Hours passed in cold silence. The asteroid field drifted on, empty except for dust and rock. Then, his comm crackled. The drone had pinged something. Eli leaned over the monitor. There it was, faint gravimetric distortions, just like in the old logs. Radiation spikes, too. Nothing human-made could hide those completely. He grinned and adjusted the scope. And for a heartbeat, the cloak faltered. The black wedge shimmered, revealing a hull unlike anything he'd seen. Sleek, angular, covered in strange fractal patterns that seemed to shift as he looked. The drone's feed stuttered. Then the signal died. "Damn!" A voice cut through his comms, smooth and calm, but with an edge that made his skin crawl. "You see us. That is inconvenient." Eli's breath caught. "Who is this?" Silence for a moment. Then the voice again. "Your people should not look so closely. Curiosity can be dangerous. Do you understand?" The words were flawless English, but there was something in the tone, something alien, the faintest hiss under the syllables. "I'm not afraid of you," Eli said before he could stop himself. "You should be." The channel went dead. Eli sat frozen, every hair on his body standing on end. His hands shook, but not from fear alone. There was adrenaline, too, and something else. They knew he'd seen them. That meant they were real. That meant the others who'd vanished hadn't just been accidents. And now, they knew his name. The alien ultimatum. Eli didn't go to the observation dome the next night. He stayed in his cramped bunk, staring at the blank wall, the alien's voice replaying in his mind over and over. "You see us. That is inconvenient. You should be afraid." They knew who he was. They could have ended him already. So why hadn't they? By morning, he had his answer. His comm panel blinked with an incoming encrypted transmission. No sender ID. Against every shred of common sense, Eli accepted it. The screen stayed dark, but the voice filled the room. "Eli Carver, you will forget what you saw. You will not speak of us again. In return, you will live a long life. Disobey, and you will join the others who were removed." Eli swallowed hard. "What do you want, hey? Why hide in the belt?" A pause. Then, "Our mission is not your concern. Your species is not ready to know. Be grateful for that." Something inside Eli snapped. All his life, he'd been ignored by the colony, by the authorities, even by his own parents. But this was different. This was an invasion wrapped in secrecy. "I won't stay quiet," he said. "You think you can threaten me into silence, but I have proof." The voice sharpened. "Destroy it, or we will." The comm went dead. Eli didn't destroy anything. Instead, he made a plan. He couldn't convince the patrols with blurry photos and coordinates. They'd already dismissed those. He needed something undeniable, something that would force every sensor array in the belt to see the cloaked ship at the same time. And he knew how. In the belt, nothing drew attention faster than a massive volatile ice detonation. Patrols rushed to investigate. Miners scrambled to claim salvage, and every orbital station tuned their sensors toward the source. If he could lure the alien vessel close enough to one of these blasts, the light and debris would scatter off its hull and break the cloak, at least for a moment. That moment would be enough. Late that night, Eli stole his family's old mining tug, a squat, scarred craft with a cargo bay barely big enough for 2 ice boulders. He piloted it toward a dense rock cluster in Sector Delta 7, the same place he'd first seen the ship. Sweat trickled down his back as he maneuvered between the drifting asteroids. He targeted one of the largest ice-rich rocks, planted an overcharged mining charge on its surface, and set a timer for 20 minutes. That would give him time to hide the tug and wait. His comm crackled before he'd even finished. "You are making a mistake, Eli Carver." He froze. The alien voice again, calm, but colder now. "Leave this sector immediately." "Not until the belt sees what you are," Eli shot back. The reply was almost a whisper. "Then you will not live to see their reaction." The channel cut, and Eli's gut twisted. They were coming. Through the tug's viewport, the blackness shifted. Stars bent subtly, like ripples on water. The cloaked ship was sliding closer, keeping its profile hidden. 10 minutes to detonation. Eli powered down everything. Engines, lights, even life support fans, leaving the tug adrift among the rocks. The alien vessel slowed, stopping near the booby-trapped ice boulder. 5 minutes. He gripped the controls. If they scanned the rock before it blew, they might see the charge and pull away. But then the alien ship's hull shimmered, just for a second, and he caught that same fractal pattern he'd seen before. 2 minutes. His heart pounded so loud he could barely hear the timer beep. The explosion hit like a silent sun. The ice boulder erupted, shards and vapor blasting outward in a brilliant sphere. The light spilled across the alien ship's hull, breaking its cloak in a shimmering cascade. For the first time, the vessel stood revealed in all its alien geometry, jagged, otherworldly, unmistakably not human. And the belt's long-range sensors, tuned automatically to the detonation, recorded everything. Eli's comm lit up with frantic chatter from nearby stations and patrol ships. "Unidentified vessel sighted in Delta 7. Replay that feed. Someone get me a hull analysis." "What the hell is that thing?" Eli allowed himself a single breath of triumph. Before the alien ship turned toward him, weapons ports glowing, humanity's eyes open. The mining tug's cockpit lit up with red threat warnings. The alien vessel's weapon ports pulsed with a cold blue glow, each surge brighter than the last. Eli slammed the tug's thrusters to full, weaving through the asteroid debris field left by the ice detonation. Chunks of frozen rock the size of shuttles spun past, some close enough to scrape paint from his hull. The first alien shot tore through the cluster, vaporizing a 50-meter boulder in an instant. The second blast scorched so close to the tug that Eli's console screamed in protest, warning of hull stress. Come on, he muttered, glancing at the comm feed. It was chaos, stations calling for patrol ships, patrols scrambling to converge on Delta 7. Then, through the static, a voice. "Unidentified tug, this is Patrol Command. We have your location. Keep them in sensor range." Eli's pulse kicked into overdrive. They were coming, but if the alien ship went to FTL before the patrols arrived, this would all have been for nothing. The alien vessel kept pace effortlessly, sliding through the field like a predator through dark water. Each shot drove him deeper into the densest part of the asteroid cluster, where sunlight barely reached. And then, an idea sparked in his mind. This section of the belt was full of pocket traps, dead-end pockets where gravitational eddies from large asteroids created unstable flight paths. Locals avoided them. Outsiders often didn't know they existed until it was too late. If he could lure the alien ship into one, it might buy enough time for the patrols to catch up. Eli cut his speed suddenly, letting the alien close the gap, then darted left into a narrow rock canyon barely wide enough for his tug. His inertial dampers groaned as he scraped past jagged edges, the hull shuddering from near misses. The alien followed, its cloak flickering from the close-quarters impacts with drifting debris. Up ahead, the canyon ended in a cluster of massive, slow-turning asteroids. Between them, a gravitational sinkhole, a point where opposing gravities canceled just enough to create an unstable, almost inescapable trap for ships without careful navigation. Eli threaded through the gap. The alien ship roared in behind him. For the first time, it made a mistake, slamming into the edge of the sinkhole without realizing it. Its engines flared as it fought the pull, buying Eli precious seconds. "Patrol command," he said into the comm. "I've got them pinned in a grave pocket. Coordinates transmitting now." 3 patrol frigates burst into the sector, their drives glowing hot. They spread out, forming a loose net around the pocket, each ship's weapons trained on the alien vessel. Through his viewport, Eli saw the alien ship pause, like a predator suddenly aware it had walked into a trap. A voice broke through the calm, deeper and colder than before. "Impressive, human. You think this will stop what comes?" Eli's jaw tightened. "It stops you." The alien ship's engines surged, its hull shimmered, and then, without warning, it fired a brilliant pulse. Not at the patrols, not at Eli, at empty space above the grave pocket. The pulse detonated, scattering a cloud of micro-debris that ripped through patrol sensor arrays, blinding them for seconds. When the sensors cleared, the alien ship was gone, vanished into FTL. In the aftermath, Patrol Command swarmed Eli with questions. He replayed his sensor logs, his visual captures, the full sequence of the detonation and reveal. The images spread across the belt in hours, then to the inner worlds in days. News headlines called him the boy who saw what no one else could. Security protocols were rewritten. Patrol fleets received new orders to watch for cloaked incursions. For the first time in decades, humanity believed the old belt ghost stories. But Eli didn't feel like celebrating. A week later, he was back in the observation dome, notebook in hand, scanning the asteroid drifts. The belt looked the same as it always had, cold, silent, endless. Then his comm panel lit with a new encrypted signal. No ID, just one audio message. "Eli Carver, you delayed us, but others are watching your species now. We are not finished." The signal cut. Eli stared out at the stars, his pencil hovering over the page. He wasn't afraid. Not anymore, because now he knew humanity was watching back.